Yes, 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 yes. I feel like Daniel Bryan. Yes, yes. It's going down. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going down. You see, right now, we are recording this show late night fizzle. That's what I'm gonna call it. You feel me? Late night fizzle. Obviously, we had a show earlier, episode 265, that unfortunately my guy Zay didn't make. You feel me? He wasn't able to make it. But that was an episode. I can tell you that, Zay. I mean, we talked about Deshaun Watson. We found out 6 games. Me and Zach, we bought the heat on that. You know, we talked about the AFC East. We gave our predictions. And even though you wasn't there, you know, to give the predictions, I actually got to see your predictions. Okay, that will be going up in a graphic. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm appalled, brother. I'm very, very appalled. Like, I'm looking at this list. I'm like, my guy, Zay, I could always count on this guy to give us some hot takes here. You know what I'm saying? To spice things up here in the huddle. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm here for it. I'm appalled. I'm surprised, but I'm here for it. My brother makes for good viewership and good tap on the dot. You know, that double tap on Instagram. You feel me? Speaking of Instagram, I'm the man. And you know who else is the man? Danny Garcia. Because my mans did work. And before we even get there, Zay, I forgot my man is at the door. How you doing today, my guy?
Hey man, I know today is an electric episode, you and Zach, so I can't wait to tune in on that when it releases. But today it's been a hectic day, but it was definitely fun to rewatch a lot of the things that happened over the weekend. I got to witness a lot of great things from baseball all the way down to trade rumors about happening over the weekend, and then watching boxing on Saturday, which was actually lightning to say the least. You know, there was a lot of good fights in the undercard that hopefully no one missed. And, you know, it led over to that final moment with Danny Garcia, which was a great fight for him. And, you know, he had a very touching post-fight interview that I think, you know, touched a lot of people's souls. And that's a big thing recently in the fighting world. It's not even the fighting world, just in the world in general. Mental health, you know, make sure y'all get y'all talk to somebody. Never feel like you're alone. There's always someone to reach out and speak to you. And if you feel like you don't have anyone, you can reach out to me, Good Vibes by Zay. I'm always here to listen. So that's something that everyone just needs, that one person just to listen to them so they can just clear their mind from the insanity that we face on a daily basis.
Hey, I might have to hit up the Zay hotline, brother, because your boy gonna need it soon. You feel me? But, you know, speaking of that, as you know, we recorded an episode earlier, so we, running it back here late night. You feel me? I still got energy. I got more energy now than I did before, to be exact. It's just how the real world operates. But speaking of, the undercard, I didn't get to see the undercard. Matter of fact, I missed the first 2 rounds of this fight. This fight gave no warning, okay, that it was coming on early. And that was actually a mistake on my fault, so I'm not even going to blame it. Because normally, I don't know if you noticed this, Zay, but the last couple fights that I saw, it was coming on real late, bro. I'm talking about 12:30. You're about to fall asleep. Guys about to fall asleep. I'm like, bro, I'm not 21 like I used to be, bro. I'm getting older. You feel me? The bedtime come a little earlier. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch the UFC fight and watch the tune-ups there. And then I happened to go in my other TV in the kitchen and see that the fight was already in the 3rd round, halfway done. I'm like, oh, my God, I got to take a seat and watch my guy, Danny Garcia, because y'all know me. Y'all know that I'm a Danny Garcia fan. Anyway, let's get right to it. We said enough. Danny Garcia outworks Jose Benavidez Jr. after an almost 2-year layoff. Outworks the dude. What is this? Like, excuse me. Was this an impressive performance from Swift Time? And even though it's not Swift Time, it's called Swift Garcia. Was this a impressive performance? Zay, would you kick us off?
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely going to go with it was an impressive performance. 19 months out of, not going to say retirement, just 19-month layoff. Not him, not boxing at all. He had a very tough bout his last 2 fights. And before going into this fight, and I just had his record up, and I wanted to make sure I correctly say those 2 fights that he had prior to this one. It was Errol Spence, of course. That was a tough loss on his back, right? No. Actually, he lost to Porter, but he fought Granados and Red Koch.
Red Koch.
Yeah. And then he fought Spence. But I was referring to the Porter and Spence fights. Those 2 were real detrimental to him because those are the 2 fights that he needed to solidify his king of the division. Those are the 2 fights that was big at the time that he really needed after the Thurman fight. Remember, Thurman and him was electric as well. That went to a decision. And that was another one that was really devastating to his, not his career, but, to him himself. That was the one that took away his undefeated record. So I think this fight against Benavidez Jr. was a big one because Benavidez Jr. is a bum. He's actually one of the more electric fighters in the division, super welterweight. I think it's a little bit higher in weight. And I think that's something that was interesting. I would say I was impressed by 19 months layoff, and he still was throwing combos fluid, but he was getting hit a little bit too much for my liking. I would say that I think he wasn't the same Danny Garcia that was Matrix-like and when I was dodging punches and throwing counters. He was more aggressive. He was getting hit more than I'm accustomed to seeing Danny Garcia get hit, but he was throwing combos. He was pushing the tempo, pushing the fight, something he didn't do against Errol Spence. And I think that was something that we've seen. I think when he's going against a bigger fighter, I personally want to see him throw combos, be the aggressor against those guys like the Errol Spence. It seems like he was a little too timid. He wanted to get the perfect shot, to get them the KO shot. And I think that's what really hindered him during that fight, and then he lost it. He lost that fight. Even his coaching, his father, was telling him, you have to be aggressive. You can't just wait for him to throw punches. You need to be the aggressor. You need to start throwing. And I think in this fight where he had a 3-inch shortage, I think he was 3 inches in reach shorter than Benavidez, and also 2 inches shorter than him in height. That's something that I was happy to see. Benavidez was kind of stifled by the fact that Danny Garcia felt so comfortable throwing his combinations, 2 to the body, 1 to the head, multiple to the head, the heavy hooks to the body, a lot of jabs that went through off the counter punch. So I think this is a really good showing for Danny Garcia. And like I said, the touching and motivational post-game fight interview was something that was really good to see. He showed his emotions, showed how much he cared to win, how much he cared for the fight. And, that 19 months, he showed all of that emotion that combined into that impressive performance that he had against Benavidez Jr.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the fight and some of the things that I like, to answer the question, I was very impressed with Danny Garcia because he looked more comfortable as the fight went on. You could argue Benavidez's best rounds came in the first 2-3 rounds, and then Danny Garcia started to move more methodically and more smartly and more confidently. I think when you take and combine the move up in weight to 154 super welterweight, I think that's another reason to be impressive because, you're going into somebody else's territory. And a guy in Benavidez that he likes to bang. He likes to slug it out with you. And you did a good job of not getting into a slugfest with the dude, but actually just outsmarting him and outthinking him. And that's what Danny Garcia did. I think Danny Garcia looked more faster at this weight, believe it or not. I think there's a give and take with this. I think at this weight, he looks more faster and more aggressive. And he loses him. In the flip side, he loses the power. Because I didn't see one shot that Danny Garcia threw at Benavidez that really caught Benavidez and hurt Benavidez. So that's one thing to be mindful of if he continues to travel and navigate through this 154 when he start chasing them title holders. Because, he may not have the power like he once did. Because 147, the guy packed the punch, bro. You see, he was one of the more powerful fighters it was at that weight class. He moved up a little bit. He seemed like he lost a little bit of the power, but he gained some more speed, based on what I saw in this fight. But overall, he threw combinations, and he went to the body. Key stat for thought here. Danny Garcia threw 153 body punches. Benavidez only 12. I thought Benavidez should have been more active. The guy was out here showboating, sticking his tongue out. My man, you're losing every round. What are you sticking your tongue out for? You feel me? Like, honestly. So I think Danny Garcia looked good. Defensively, I know you question his defense. I didn't think his defense was porous. I thought his defense was solid. He started to, move around a little bit, and he just looked more comfortable there. And a comfortable Danny Garcia and a confident Danny Garcia is a scary Garcia, and I think, just if he's more aggressive, going forward, I think he will be that dog. Listen, honestly, Keith Thurman, that fight could have went to Danny Garcia. I thought Keith Thurman won the fight, but had Danny Garcia be a little bit more aggressive in that fight, he would have won that fight. Porter was another close one. A little bit more punches, bro. Start off a little bit faster. You win that fight. Errol Spence, according to Danny Garcia, and I want to pivot to here real quickly here, because Danny Garcia came out after post-game, right? Post-fight. And, he got a little emotional there. Almost had a brother tearing up a little bit over here. You feel me? We don't see that side from Danny Garcia. And when you look at his Instagram, it's a different vibe when you talk about Danny Garcia. The guy's more of a party type of dude, enjoy life. And it goes to the point that I always say with a lot of people when it comes to this social media universe, a lot of people is always going to show you the good side, right? Oh, when I'm having a good day, when I accomplish something, but they're never going to show you the bad. And that I also feel plays into people's mental health because you look at your life, we ain't accomplished Jack Dilly squad, and you figure because somebody posted, at the beach or a couple dollars that they got from their daddy that they rich out here and you ain't doing nothing. A lot of people post stuff that really they ain't living by. Because if you don't post about it, you don't gotta you're not about it. You'll feel me? Because you're gonna enjoy it. And I think when you talk about Danny Garcia, to see him have that moment there, it was very different and surprising based on what I know him to be and what his social media, if I was a social media detective, would tell me. But I still respect it. Okay. I still support it because at the end of the day, your mental is everything. And I think Danny Garcia done made a lot of money and he knows that money is not the issue anymore. What do I love? It's boxing. It's what I was brought up to do. It's what got me to this point, and it's still something that I like to do and something that I would cherish. So, yeah, there you got it.
I don't want to push the envelope too fast, but, that's something I like to do. I like to look ahead and what's next for Danny Garcia. And when I looked at
before you get there, though,
okay,
because I want to make this a great segue.
Oh,
speaking of that, because the mental health actually goes back to some of the controversy that we actually are hearing, and I don't know if you heard him, but he came out and said that he wasn't 100% for the Spence fight, not even 50% because of the mental health, right? And Spence went on Twitter, forgot the exact words he said, but to sum it up, stop making excuses. And I do feel a type of way because I am a Danny Garcia fan, but I'm not oblivious. You had the mental health, and nobody's going to say you didn't have the mental health. Nobody can really say you have mental health or don't have mental health issues or traumas. But at the same time, my man Errol Spence was not nowhere near 100% for this fight. Got in a car accident. His car done flipped over about 10 times. The man was lucky to be alive, and he fought you immediately right after that, even with bruises on his face. So I'm not trying to hear that excuses. I'll take the mental health, situation over a battered Errol Spence, to be exact. But that's just me. You can respond to that if you want.
Hey, I think it's definitely it's because why it's complicated for me, and the reason why I say complicated because these two guys are world-class fighters. These are guys that when it's all said and done between both their careers, who Danny Garcia what Danny Garcia means to the sport of boxing. We all know what Errol Spence means to the sport of boxing, especially in his division alone. But it was about brains versus bronze at that moment. And Spence was talking about he went through the car accident. We know his mind, his strength was his will, and he wasn't stopping. He wasn't letting anyone stop nothing, including a car accident, stop him from winning that fight and going all the way down to just using the nubs of his hands, and that's all he had left to win that fight. In Danny Garcia's sense, it seemed like he was clocked out of the fight as soon as the bell rang. He wasn't in the ring, if that makes any sense. It just seemed like everything from when you saw the fight, when you even saw him throw a punch, he didn't try to throw combinations. He was waiting for Spencer to throw something at him as if he was waiting for the perfect punch, the perfect hit, the perfect time to swing. And I don't know if that was the game plan from the jump, but that's what it seemed like he was doing. He was just waiting for the one punch to knock this guy out, and it just never came, and he was getting beat up the entire fight. And I think that Spence saying stop making excuses, it's like that's like a motivational factor right there because you lost to the guy, and now he's like, I don't know, I'm not gonna call it mocking, but I guess Spence felt the need to comment on it because it felt like you were discrediting his win. Like you discrediting me beating you. Like I could beat you on your 100% day or 10% day. It don't matter what percentage you're on. I know where I was at and I beat you.
Yeah, I think one fight that I want to see as we move on to what's next for Danny Garcia, I think this makes the most sense to me right about now, and that's rematching Keith Thurman. I think flat out number one answer. That's what I'm rocking with. Keith Thurman right now is coming off a loss. In his last fight to Manny Pacquiao, he fought Manny Pacquiao. He lost to Manny Pacquiao, but he fought on Barrios, and so he's actually coming off a win. But his stock took a big hit when he lost to Pacquiao. Keith Thurman, big hit because Although Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, with all due respect, my man's is 40. Okay. And we saw what you guys did to him. Okay. And we saw what Spence did to you guys. So it makes Pacquiao stock plummet, not only from that you guys loss, but when you see what Spence did to you guys. So now it makes Keith Thurman stock plummet just the most because he lost to Pacquiao. So now you need to find a way to get your wild card back into the picture. Clear, you dispense when you had the belts, when you was the number one. So he ain't going to turn back to help you up, brother. So that's out of the picture. I'm not sure we're going to get a Terrence Crawford fight with Spence. Right now, it's looking shaky. Yesterday, it looked really good. Today, it looks totally different. It may not happen. Maybe you go and fight at Crawford because Crawford is still chasing big names. So maybe that's your golden ticket. But if Terrence Crawford is unavailable, then why not for Keith Thurman perspective? And for Danny Garcia, do I need to explain? He lost to the dude. It was a close fight. You get your rematch, and Keith Thurman is still a big name. It could plummet you right back into where you need to be as well.
I like that a lot, the Keith Thurman, fight. I think that's something that'll be huge for Danny Garcia's motivation. Just like, you beat me before, been narrowly, because you had the judges on your side with the split decision. But I think I won that fight personally, and I feel like if we fought again, I'll definitely win it for sure. And that's Keith Thurman looking at Danny Garcia as an opportunity to get his name back up out of the ground, because Danny Garcia right now is one of the names that's starting to rise back up. Every time Danny Garcia takes a loss, he knows how to bring his name back into the fold. For me, I have two fights. None of them with Keith Thurman. Is to actually progress his name in the super welterweight division. And the two fights that I have that I wanted to see personally was Tony Harrison and Castano, the number one right now in that division, the contender in that super welterweight division. I think when you look at Danny Garcia's name, his name still brings box office tickets. It's still a money grab, and it's still a fight that boxers want to take because of how infamous his name, Danny Swift Garcia, is. His name is more dangerous than a fighter, I think, at the moment, because that name was electric at one particular time. And I think a lot of young fighters or fighters who are looking to bring their names back into a particular fold would want to fight him, Brian Carlos Castano. And I think if you're Danny Garcia, you want to move up in the rankings to fight the guys who are ahead of you in the contendership. So I think you look at Castano, you look at Harrison, guys who I think 4-1 respectively. Those are the guys you want to fight. So then you could possibly get into that fold for the championship bout with Jermell Charlo, if that's your case to win a title. If he plans, of course, to move forward in that super welterweight division. If he plans to go back down, I love to see him versus Keith Thurman. I love to see him try to go.
Even if it's at 154, even if Keith Thurman moves up and they fight at that catch weight of 154, I still like to see it regardless. I don't know. I think Danny Garcia, it's going to be interesting to see how far he really wants to go and move up in this new weight class, because, you could look at the fight, and if my guy Benavidez actually threw a little bit more punches, that fight is a much, much closer fight. Because there were times where he did connect, but he just didn't have the output. And Danny Garcia was using his ability to just throw combinations and move around. I think, I'm not sure about the weight. I think what made Danny Garcia is, we all know he's a great counterpuncher. We all know he's big on timing. But the timing also comes with the detonator, which is a powerful shot. If that power is not as precise and physical as it was before, then how much damage could it do to the bigger welterweights in a division? We'll have yet to see. But last words?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm extremely proud to see Danny Garcia back on his feet, man, doing what he has to do. And I think hopefully the next fight he gets is something that's going to push his career forward, even if it means fighting Keith Thurman or fighting somebody in that nature where he previously lost to. Even if Sean Porter come back and say, I want to fight Porter, something along the lines where Garcia, gets back into the prominence of just fighting, because when Danny Garcia is fighting, it's always a good night for boxing.
And ladies and gentlemen, right now, we worked a little overtime today. I know I worked overtime today. I'm about to clock out. Y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, feel the vibe as always, and good vibes, Baze. It was a good vibe, my brother. See you on the other side.
Of course, my guy.
Peace.